Biden secretly sells border wall components to thwart Republican efforts to resume building, according to a report. According to reports, the Biden administration has been attempting to outdo Republicans in passing legislation to complete the construction of the border wall by selling off materials for the wall worth millions of dollars. This month, Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers, a publicly traded Canadian corporation, placed steel, square structural tubes, found in an Arizona storage facility for sale on GovPlanet, an online auction site. These 28-foot-tall hollow beams are excess border wall materials that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers turned over to the DLA for disposition and are now for sale, the Department of Defense's logistics office initially told the Daily Upside and then the New York Post. GovPlanet, which specializes in military surplus, has sold 81 lots of those beams for about $2 million, according to the Post. The beams, intended as vertical bollards in the border wall's 30-foot-tall panels, were sold in 5 separate lots on average of $212 each. GovPlanet netted $154,200 for 729 of them. Another 13 square structural tubes are to be auctioned off August 23 and August 30, the GovPlanet website says. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, USACE, is disposing of the excess border wall materials in accordance with the Federal Acquisition Regulation, a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers spokesperson said in an email to Fox News Digital on Sunday. USACE has already transferred approximately $154 million worth of the roughly $260 million of bollard panels and other materials in accordance with standard excess property disposition procedures. USACE stands ready to implement a decision regarding disposition of the remaining materials. Texas Democrat county official announces switch to GOP, cites border policies, an unprecedented crisis. Former President Donald Trump is said to have spent $15 billion to erect 450 miles of barriers along the southern border, with another 250 miles in construction when he left office. On the day he was sworn in, President Biden stopped the taxpayer-funded project, denouncing the border wall construction as a waste of money that diverts attention from genuine threats to our homeland security. Congressional Republicans, meanwhile, noted that an investigation found the Department of Defense has been spending $47 million per year, or $130,000 per day, to store the leftover border wall panels in the Southwest. In May, Senators Ted Cruz, Republican Texas, Roger Wicker, Republican Mississippi, the ranking member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and Senator Joni Ernst, Republican Iowa, introduced the Finish It Act. The legislation would require the federal government to use previously purchased and unused border wall panels to extend the wall along the U.S.-Mexico border or to transfer them to state governments, such as Texas, to be used for wall construction. The Post reported that the GovPlanet auction schedule picked up in May when Wicker first introduced the Finish It Act, and again this month when the Democrat-led Senate passed the annual defense appropriations package that included the Republican-sponsored bill to restart border wall construction. GOP lawmakers told the Post that the Biden administration is rushing to sell off more leftover border wall parts before the House, led by Republicans, can pass corresponding legislation. Biden avoids sections of Trump-built border wall during trip to El Paso. This sale is a wasteful and ludicrous decision by the Biden administration that only serves as further proof they have no shame, Wicker said, condemning it as outrageous, behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Leaving the border open to terrorists while selling border security materials at a loss is Bidenomics in a nutshell, bill co-sponsor Senator Tom Cotton, Republican Arkansas, told the Post. The pennies made from selling the border wall will not be enough to pay the families who suffer from a criminal act committed by someone who crossed our open borders during the Biden administration, said Senator James Lankford, r/Oklahoma.Republic. Elise Stefanik, Republican New York, denounced the first sale of border wall parts as reckless. Our borders continue to be overrun by an unprecedented number of illegal immigrants, turning every district into a border district and compromising our national security, Stefanik told the Post. Representative Juan Ciscomani, Republican Arizona, whose district is where the border wall parts have been stored while awaiting auction, criticized Biden for his refusal to act. The federal government needs to be utilizing every tool in the toolbox to secure our border, he said. Instead of putting these materials to their intended use, they have been squandered, first collecting dust in the desert and now being auctioned off. Representative Elise Stefanik, Republican New York, denounced the first sale of border wall parts as reckless. Our borders continue to be overrun by an unprecedented number of illegal immigrants, turning every district into a border district and compromising our national security, Stefanik told the Post. Representative Juan Ciscomani, Republican Arizona, whose district is where the border wall parts have been stored while awaiting auction, criticized Biden for his refusal to act. The federal government needs to be utilizing every tool in the toolbox to secure our border, he said. Instead of putting these materials to their intended use, they have been squandered, first collecting dust in the desert and now being auctioned off.